Hello and welcome to Double Talk. I'm Mark Steffen.
I'm Michael Mandel. How do you do that?
How do I do what?
Count the bums.
Oh, we're talking about the census. And
people don't count people who are necessarily
everybody counts,
the hidden
Michael.
homeless.
Oh, yes, they do.
Everybody counts?
Michael, I used to work for the Census Bureau.
How'd you count hobos?
You go down, you go 1,
Hobos.
2, 3.
Hobos. How do you know those hobos didn't move someplace else and get counted there?
Well, you don't. But you want that count in your city.
Oh, that's true. You do.
Because you get federal funds.
I want to start.
Where are you going?
I'm going over here. So I was cleaning out my garage and I found this. And the last 2 weeks, the
Letterman show.
I put on a charade about we came from the Letterman show, but we didn't. We created it together. This is in 1991. This picture, Letterman. They talk about 1991 about he's more ironic and scathing than Jay Leno, which we all knew that.
We all knew that.
You know, the good thing about him is, you know, he doesn't pussyfoot. He doesn't play around and act nice. This recent week he had Cher on. They kissed. She kissed him. She called him an A something.
No, they used to have this phony feud going on for years and years.
And she said, you know, she said to him, "I forgive you, but you're still an A something."
He hasn't had Raquel Welch on lately, though, has he?
Is Raquel Welch still alive?
She used to call him, or was it Cher? I called him Baby Booze. No, that was Cher.
Was it Cher?
That was Cher, yeah.
And you know what? He never had Jane Mansfield on. What's with that?
He could have her daughter on if he wanted to.
And this past week he's had Howard Stern and Don Rickles on the same show.
Oh, I wish I'd seen that one.
It was pretty okay. I mean, Howard Stern comes on with this amazing another charade.
Dressed like a woman, right?
Did he come as a woman?
Well, I saw the...
No, he came in a black suit. He looked with a hat. He looked very, very tough.
Like he does on his TV show.
Yes, and what he did was accuses him of having nothing to do in retirement, how they're going to move to Montana. He's never going to see anybody anymore. It was a great, ridiculous thing, and then they're chewing each other out, but Howard Stern really gets at him and criticizes him. Then he gets Don Rickles in, of course, and Don Rickles doesn't even talk to Dave Letterman. He talks to Howard Stern. He says, "Oh, forget about you. We'll talk about it later." And it's great because he gets these Jewish guys on, and he likes the way that they are, sassy.
I remember Howard Stern being on the
Sassy.
Letterman show since the 80s.
He was. In fact, they showed when he was first on. Man, you talk about your nerds for Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Well, he was one of them. He was incredible. His hair was only slightly bushy, and he wore those big glasses.
That big nose.
But you have whoever wants to see the last, I think it's going to be either a week of shows or they're going to stop it on Wednesday. Interesting, this past week they had, what's the guy's name? Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton was on last night, or the other night, Wednesday night.
Wednesday.
No, Tuesday. But they're going to end the show, but the replacement's not going to come on until the fall.
Well, then they'll do old ones.
Right,
Like
Stephen
they usually do.
Colbert.
They usually fill them up.
They'll do reruns, so hopefully you get to see the shows that have been on the last few weeks.
That might be good. It's worth seeing for sometimes. As I said before, and all these guys on talk shows, you get somebody famous there, then you talk about their kids. Well, you know what kids are about.
We hate it.
We don't like that. You say, "Oh yeah, they're great," or he talks about his mother.
He had Tina Fey on the other night talking about her kids.
Oh, Tina Fey undressed herself. She
I saw
that was a good show.
We got to see her in foundation garments.
Yes. Well, you got to see how many foundation garments somebody could wear. That's more foundation garments than an Eskimo would wear.
Yeah.
I hope that's not racist.
Not counting Spanx.
And all sorts of things.
Now listen.
I'm still wearing my tie. This is still because I don't have to worry about being sued from David Letterman for wearing a suit.
Oh. Well, the chili crop will soon be harvested. Well, not soon.
I was thinking
in
about
a couple
that
of months.
as I was talking about David Letterman.
Chili.
Yes, chili.
And, the Hatch Valley is the premier place for growing chilies. It's the most famous chili growing region in the world.
For those who know.
But they're trying to get the law passed that any chili calling itself Hatch chili has to be grown in the Hatch Valley.
I thought they already did this, but it seems that they are.
The state of New Mexico did, but
we did. The rest of the country.
We're trying to trademark the whole thing, Hatch green chili. And the Hatch Valley ranges from Caballo down to Radium Springs, basically.
Yes.
Now, this can of Hatch chili calls itself Hatch chili. It's not grown in Hatch, in the Hatch Valley at all. grown in Mexico.
Right. Most chilies are grown in Mexico.
So if you don't want
Hatch chili is separate.
Mexican chili, do not buy Hatch chili. It has nothing to do with chili grown in Hatch.
You know, we say everybody knows about Hatch chili. Oh, it's you know, it's worldwide. Everybody knows it. But it leads me to remember this guy from Edinburgh who says, surely you know the 7 bridges of Edinburgh. Everybody in the world knows the 7 bridges of Edinburgh. You know the 7 bridges of Edinburgh?
You mean the names of them?
No, just that there are 7 bridges in Edinburgh.
Over the river or what?
I don't know. There's 7 bridges. Maybe there's
Well,
7 people of dental work.
You were
It could
there. I don't know.
I wasn't going there. There are bridges, but maybe it meant dental bridges because, you know, they have very bad teeth and they can only afford 7 bridges. So maybe that's what they meant. But, you know, we think Hatch chili is known the world over.
We sell a lot of it to China, apparently.
I don't think so.
Yeah, sure.
They probably grow their own chili.
They probably do. It's probably harder than ours.
Yeah, they have all sorts of things.
But
So,
anyway.
yes, I agree. We should have copyright on that.
Well, they're trying to get it so that
trademark.
any chili on the label has to say, it's going to have an emblem, it says
Hatch.
grown. This is official Hatch chili.
From the Hatch Valley. Is there such a thing? Isn't it part of the Mesilla Valley? Or is it
No,
the Hatch
Mesilla Valley takes over where the Hatch Valley ends.
So we're going to be doing, because there might be chilies that are grown down here, and I believe there
Oh,
are.
yes.
Can we call them Mesilla Valley chilies?
Yes,
we can
we
call
could.
them Hatch Valley chilies.
No, ours are Mesilla Valley chilies.
Well, how
It's
do
a
you like
whole
that?
different baby.
We're not going to let them call their cabbages Mesilla Valley cabbages.
No way.
No, those people in Hatch better not call them that.
So, anyway.
Well, we do like Hatch chilies. I like them.
Speaking of the Mesilla Valley, we get our electricity from the El Paso Electric Company.
How do you like that? It goes upriver?
It goes
I
anywhere
didn't
they
know
send it.
Yes.
And actually,
They send it here.
it comes from the nuclear power plant in Arizona, mostly.
Oh, that stuff's hot.
Although they do have a few generating stations around, like in El Paso.
And they're working on solar.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of it comes
solar.
from coal burning plants in northern New Mexico. But
Oh, no.
El Paso Electric wants to raise our rates once again.
9% in a year. That's
a lot.
Well, they say they haven't raised them since, 2009, so it's 5 years. But they also say the price of fuel is going down, but that price is separate than the production price.
It's like the price of fuel oil that they use to burn to create electricity.
Right. So they're going more to solar and stuff. They say that this hike is meant to increase productivity in their plants, make the plants more productive, more efficient.
Well, to spend money on new equipment?
If they're going to do that, shouldn't that help to make our rates lower? Because if it's more efficient, then it won't cost them as much.
I guess they need the new.
Therefore, it should be balanced.
Well, they must
It should
need
be
the
balanced.
increase.
That doesn't mean that later on they're going to say,
to do
"Oh,
that.
after 20 years, we can cut your rates." It's not going to mean that.
Rates never go down. Once
You know
they
what
go
you
up,
do?
they stay there.
You know how to save electricity? You see there's 2 plugs there? You should only use one of those. Don't use both. That'll cut your rates in half.
Oh,
Use one of those plugs, not the other.
I see.
Can you do that at home?
I will if you will.
Okay, I do. I only use one. Cuts down enormously. What else are we talking about?
Well, you know,
you like that? The rates? We're gonna do solar. They're also trying to screw people who have solar panels on their houses now, saying that they're going to make them pay to be on the grid to give the electricity back.
Right. Well,
maybe we should all get solar panels and let the electric company not have to upgrade their efficiency. And
there's places
how do you like that?
in this country where it's illegal to have solar electricity, solar power in your own home.
Underground?
No,
People
solar
live
power.
underground?
No, they don't.
What places in this? Tell me about this.
People that
in Texas.
I don't know exactly where, but I read about it on Facebook, so you know it's true.
Was it on Facebook?
Yeah.
That's good. That's my newspaper. You know, they decided they're going to put a news thing on. They mentioned this on Wednesday, that Facebook is going to do a news thing, and they say, well, why on Facebook? Why not all those other media? They say because pretty much 2 billion people read Facebook all the time, so they might as well put the news on it. And just as you said, you read this on Facebook.
That's right.
People post things.
Jon Stewart's going off the air. We got to get our news somewhere.
That's right. God, who knows it? Anyway.
So anyway, now what else is going? Oh, well, you know.
I don't know. I can't read that far.
You know, we've lost a lot of festivals that Las Cruces used to be famous for.
Well, we used to be famous for.
We lost the mariachi conference.
Well, we didn't have a big mariachi conference, but it's still there.
We lost the White Sands International Film Festival.
And that's been talked about as getting back, but it's true.
It's gone. what else?
concrete rafting thing, that rafting thing.
We lost the Raft to
lost.
Rio.
We lost, I don't know, there was a picture of it.
And we lost the whole enchilada fiesta.
We did? When was this?
We did.
2 weeks ago?
They never
Where
tell
was
you
I?
this will be the last one. They just say, oh, we're not going to do it this year.
That's right. We're just not going to do it. But there's a lot of considerations. We talked about this last year and we complained that the fee was $10 to get in.
That was
and
outrageous.
therefore it cut that back on the
People
amount
kept
of
going.
people that went. And so they lost money. Somebody kicked in 30 grand to have Roberto's little platter that he makes the whole enchilada with.
The gas cooker.
Done. That's a big,
Right.
gas was a big part of this gigantic piece
He
of
used it
metal.
once.
He used it once and now
Trashed
it's
it.
over. He should have just said, well, that's it. That's it.
Should have quit 2 years ago.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
but they had it. And he's saying a lot of it is because a lot of the money came from his pocket. And, and he can't afford to do it anymore because his business isn't doing so well. And he's blaming it, as many people do who have workers in this town, blame a lot of things on their workers. Most of the rates of food, if you've been around town eating, they've gone up at least $1 a dish. Meanwhile, the minimum wages here and Obamacare.
Is he blaming Obamacare? Because Domino's Pizza is blaming Obamacare for having to lay off people and put everybody on part-time.
Right, and they're doing okay. So, yeah, but they raised the prices of food. They raised the prices on food adequately to take over how many people are working there. If you have 6 people working, let's say at Little Caesars, and you've raised your rates $1 a pizza, well, then all you need is 6 people an hour to come and buy a pizza.
Luna Rosa Pizza has a Monday special. It used to be $5 a pizza for one topping. Now it's up to $6 a pizza on Monday nights. That's their pizza special night. So they raised their rates $1.
Lorenzo's, are you on the show?
Yeah. So prices go up. Anyway, so we've lost the whole enchilada fiesta. That's gone forever. Roberto's 78 years old. He was too old to do it. Why can't his kids take over?
Or somebody could volunteer.
They got the business from him.
So he said his business is just barely making it. Does that mean is that when he raised his workers to minimum wage, that he was making as much as them? Did he feel gypped? Could he actually live on $9 an hour if, He's got to be making more than $9 an hour, Roberto, right?
Well, he's been doing the enchilada fiesta for 32 years.
I'm talking about his business.
Suddenly now he can't afford to do it?
Because he's saying that he's 78 years old. Why does he want to work?
So
That's a lot of work.
Well, so he's paying people who've worked there for many, many years. They're still getting minimum wage.
I hope not.
And
I hope they're making...
Well, I hope they have health insurance and other benefits. They get to eat there free anyway.
It doesn't seem like a valid argument. In fact, everybody doesn't seem to have a valid argument. Prices around town have gone up, especially maybe where? Little Caesars Pizza? Same price. But they put less pepperoni in it.
Yeah.
They had a good one yesterday.
Oh, it's still good. Little Caesars.
Pepperoni is the most favorite topping of pizzas in the country.
And if it weren't for pizza, who would be eating pepperonis?
I don't.
People don't go and say, I'd like a nice pepperoni on rye. Give me a hero sandwich with pepperoni. Nobody says that.
I don't know what they did. Well, pepperoni sandwiches, but salami, pepperoni.
You would add it as a spicier piece.
If you're not getting enough hog anus in
You
your
are
diet.
making me hungry. I think we have to take a break now because we're all hungry. He wants to go get his Little Caesars pizza. We're going to eat some Little Caesars, and we'll be right back in a second.
After these words.
After these words that we use to extend it. See you.
Attention users of the blood-thinning drug Xarelto. If you or a loved one has been hospitalized or died from serious internal bleeding after taking Xarelto, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Call the Sentinel Group now. Potential claims are being reviewed for users of Xarelto who have suffered severe bleeding or hemorrhaging, stroke, or even death. Our network of experienced attorneys are ready to help fight for you. You won't pay a thing until your case is settled. Call the Sentinel Group now. Don't wait.
Have you or a loved one suffered complications after uterine surgery from the use of a power morselator? If so, call the Sentinel Group now. You may be entitled to significant compensation. The FDA estimates that 1 in 350 women undergoing a myomectomy or hysterectomy have unsuspected myoma or cancer in the uterus. The Sentinel Group's experienced network of attorneys have years of experience fighting big medical companies and is ready to fight for you. So if you've developed uterine cancer, call the Sentinel Group now for a free confidential consultation.
Listen up, America!
The price of life insurance has gone down 60% over the last 15 years. Many Americans know they need it, and some that have life insurance know they don't have enough. How would your family get by without you? How are you planning for the uncertainties of life? Find out how easy it is to protect the ones you love. The quote is free, and there are no obligations. Listen up, America. Call now.
Celebrate, celebrate, Fiesta Motors.
Come and see us today and discover why our service is second to none. In business for over 17 years, we have the right car for you. When you buy a vehicle from Fiesta Motors, we do everything possible to ensure your satisfaction. Located at the corner of El Paseo and Main. See you there.
Celebrate, Fiesta Motors, where buying a car is always a celebration.
An important message for Americans in need of health insurance. If there's been a recent change in your life, you are eligible for immediate protection under the Affordable Care Act. If you're uninsured because you missed the enrollment deadline, we can help. To get the protection you need, you can visit the Healthcare Exchange and spend hours exploring your options. Or you can make a single call to Health Markets and let us do the legwork for you at no cost or obligation.
Call the number on your screen now. Operators are standing by. Get the coverage you need. Call now.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a medical alert. If you or a loved one took Zofran while pregnant for morning sickness or nausea, and your baby was born with a birth defect, call us immediately.
Call 1-800-953-0860.
You and your child may be entitled to compensation. Zofran taken during pregnancy may increase the risk of heart defects, cleft lip, cleft palate, and other birth defects. Call us now for a free confidential consultation.
Call 1-800-953-0860. 1-800-953-0860.
First name is
And we are back. You are watching
Yes.
Double Talk right here on Channel 98, the Las Cruces channel.
You know, you used to tell me when we were first in TV, well, other than left is right, never wear white. And I'm thinking maybe you're right, but it's not that glary. You know why? Because this camera isn't as sharp as
plus we're missing a light bulb.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I knew I didn't have any ideas. I have no ideas whatsoever.
Exactly. Well,
so I think the white shirt works well.
Okay, so
you know, my idol or my buddy, my old buddy, Letterman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he used to wear white shirts often.
They look white on TV. They're really yellow.
Oh, is that what happens?
Yellow or blue.
I always change that. I do a white balance based on somebody's shirt. Oh, mental health.
No, we're talking.
Why
about,
are we talking? What?
We're talking about. Yeah, we are talking about. You know, we skipped mental
What's
health.
the next?
We're crazy.
We skipped mental health.
We did.
We are crazy. Gosh, of course we'd skip that.
You'd have to be crazy to skip this
It's kind of
topic.
too close to home.
So,
I don't want to be talking about you.
So you know what?
Because there is no health and mental health.
$6 million deficit on the mental health funding. What's that all about?
I don't know. They obviously they keep screwing that up. I mean, first Susanna takes away all the mental health facilities
providers
from New Mexico, brings them in from Arizona. Then they didn't like it here because they're not getting money. There's a $6 million deficit. My guess is because of shenanigans.
Well, pay
That's
to play.
where you have it.
They had to
Shenanigans.
she's no different than Bill Richardson. They had to pay to play to come to this state, and she took their money. They came,
and
lost their money, and left.
And they took our $6 million, maybe. There's a thing in the paper about health care for school and how people are working to do that. You know, we need more and more health care because we used to not need health care because everybody lived in little family units.
Yeah.
And there, instead of health care, all you would do is ridicule each other. Mm-hmm. You know, say, look at the jerk.
That's mentally healthy.
Yeah. I mean, you'd play with or whatever. People felt more comfortable in social settings because we had closer families.
Well, now
this is even before our generation. We don't have close families.
But now with the baby boom generation getting old, that's a lot of people who are retiring now,
We're psych-
and they're needing mental and physical care.
But it's the young people too, because the young people, if you watch any TV show, are being totally affected by the little machines, the little phones that they're on all the time.
Devices
they're on the
that
computer. They're not even on computers anymore. They're just on their cells.
And pretty soon they're on their watches.
That's true. There's a new ad, you know.
I know.
I can't even tell. Most people who are on these watches, on the smartphones, don't know how to read analog time.
It's true. Well, I noticed Charlie Rose wears his new Mac
it just
watch.
showed up. Oh,
My
his
watch.
Mac watch, one of the first ones.
And he doesn't wear he doesn't button his cuffs on his shirt anymore. Have you noticed that?
No, I don't watch Charlie Rose because I watch Dave Letterman. He's much more intellectual.
Well, you can watch the first half hour of Charlie Rose, then watch
Okay.
David Letterman.
That's when the news is on. I have to know the news because if it weren't for the news, you wouldn't find out. Were we going to talk about the guy?
Zimmerman.
You want to talk about Zimmerman? Speak about mental health.
Yeah. Does he look mentally healthy
Yes.
to you?
He's not. I mean, we're older than his generation by easily
A bit,
20 years,
yeah.
and you're far younger than I am. I admit
Way
that.
younger.
And but he's way younger than you. I don't know if his psychosis came from media. I don't think so. He just is
He's nuts already.
So his recent debacle was he was shot at in a car.
Case of road rage.
Right, from the other guy.
The other guy shot at him at close range and missed.
But broke his windshield and stuff. And it's a guy that he's been having a road rage fight with for the last couple of months. How do you do that?
He's the kind of guy, he attracts that kind of thing.
Provoke people. He also had a cops over because his girlfriend accused him of stuff.
He told the guy,
What else
"Don't you know who I am?"
You know what he's trying to do? I know exactly what he's trying to do. He wants to get enough things behind him that everybody's going to forget about Trayvon Martin.
Oh.
He's the guy that's known for Trayvon Martin.
Yeah.
It's murder. And he wants to get that, clear his palate of that. So he's doing a lot of other crazy things. So he probably needs some health care.
He probably thinks that this is the way. He's crazy enough to think that if you do this long enough, I'll get a MacArthur Foundation grant.
Oh, maybe, because he's the only one that's really getting this crazy. There is the guy from Las Cruces. Can we talk about him? The 89-year-old guy who shot his 65-year-old son
to death.
To death.
Yeah.
In North Rise. Everybody knows this one. I mean, is that crazy, or was he provoked? What do you think?
I'm
Is he
sure
going to
he
get
was
the death
provoked.
penalty?
Well,
if he gets a death penalty, it'd take 20 years to go through.
if he gets life in prison, that is the death penalty, right?
Yeah, well, life imprisonment is a death penalty.
For him.
For almost anybody. A life in prison, if you die in prison, that's it.
Even if he gets off with good behavior.
89 years old is a death penalty, but any age is a death penalty. So we don't want to become too. Yes, if you live long enough, you always have a death penalty.
Well, let's face it, Michael. Nobody gets out alive. But
really? I think everybody thinks they can. You know, if they pray to God, God lets you into the next level. Everybody thinks it's like a video game. If you do well on this video game,
the next level.
Beep, 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 you jump up.
Well,
do it.
a lot of religions are like that. There's different levels, like Hinduism.
I don't know about it. Oh, but
reincarnation.
Reincarnation. It's not a different level if you get reincarnated as a donkey.
That's a different level.
Yeah, it is. It's a different level, but I wouldn't say it's an improvement. How many minutes we got left? I don't remember. 4 minutes. Okay, we better move on here.
Well, Las Cruces Public Schools is cutting. They say they have to cut jobs.
No, Las Cruces Public Schools cutting jobs.
Well, forget that.
Stan
Let's go to
Round's
City
picture.
Hall.
Okay, Stan Round's cutting jobs because he's hiring people in his department, so he has to cut the jobs. Also, we just did this a bridge and school over troubled waters, which is Las Cruces High School. What that cost? A few bucks. But of course, that's different budget. We don't have budget for people to teach in classrooms. We just have budget for making the classrooms because that money goes to the construction people who are the ones who need to make the money. But the school teachers, they don't need money. They need to be fired.
Well, that's apparently what's going to happen.
That's what
and
happens.
The classrooms get larger and larger.
And yeah.
Right. So our superintendent.
So you pay the construction workers, and you pay the people who own the construction firms. Those are the ones where the money
That's where the money
filters
is.
to the top. The poor school teachers, they don't make that much money. You sent a Facebook the other day about how, of course, anybody who gets in the Senate or House of Representatives gets like $100,000 retirement for life, and teachers don't get any of that.
No, I think the janitors make more money than the teachers do.
Ooh, that's good.
And the teachers spend all that money to go to school in the first place to become a teacher.
Yes, and they spend their time with 30 bratty kids.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, this is
Okay, we'll talk about City Hall now. Everything should go to City Hall, the old City Hall.
Yeah, well, you know, the city is selling it to a developer, and the developers are going to go in there and fix it up a little bit, and then they're going to lease it to the federal government.
Government. Maybe the government.
Because that'll be federal government row there.
Yes.
The federal courts.
Because we just spent a whole heck of a lot of money making that new courthouse. We couldn't make it big enough to take in that.
They could have added one more
What is
floor.
that? That's like a 2-story building, right? That's
well,
it has a big basement.
They also took over the old federal building.
That's true.
Now they're taking over the old City Hall building.
We have to arrest a lot more people.
And the City Hall building has a basement, you know, with a lot of rocks.
I know. I've been there. That's where you go to find records. Not LPs, but personal ones. Anyway, what's coming up?
Oh, well, we got Talk Nerdy to Me. It's a new TV show on right here on Channel 98. Exclusive Saturday and Sunday at 10 o'clock in the morning, just before
you would have
this
seen
show.
it. Watch it 2 hours before this.
Starring
with
Jack Lutz and Troy Stegner.
101 Gold.
Yeah, he's on the new morning show.
Troy Stegner, who you said you saw him in a cape or something?
He's in a costume with a cape on over when they had the comic book day over the comic. He owns a comic book store.
What comic book store?
The only one in town, apparently.
No, there's more than one.
Really? Name him.
Hastings.
Oh.
No, Hastings sells comic books because, believe it or not, I didn't know about these guys. There's at least two. There's the one by Co-op, right? Is that still there?
That's what I'm talking about.
But there's also one, is also maybe a hookah joint.
Oh, well, that doesn't count. I'm sorry.
Solano in Idaho? Isn't that a comic book store?
I don't know.
I just recently, I didn't know about that. I sold comics to Hastings. Remember when I used to?
Oh, old comics?
Yeah, it wasn't worth it.
Now listen, this is the final weekend for a play downtown at the Black Box Theater. It's called Mad Gravity.
That's tonight at 8 o'clock.
And
Sunday, tomorrow, which is
at 2:30.
if you're watching this on Saturday. As well, there's a special
final
show with where'd you go? With the playwright. He's coming down he's actually coming down from Santa Fe. He actually lives in Laramie,
Wyoming. But that's next Thursday night.
At 7 o'clock, not the usual 8 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock you get to have a talk back if you like Mad Gravity. And from what I hear, people are liking it.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it tonight myself.
Okay, that sounds good.
Well, we're almost out of time, aren't we, Michael?
No, I don't think so. I think we have plenty of time. I think we could just schmooze. You want to talk about restaurants?
Think we could?
I hear the food isn't any better at the new Empire Grill. It's just a bigger space.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we go there and have lunch and report back?
I am starving, because we've talked for at least a half hour. Has it been a half hour, sir?
It certainly seems like it. So
we
let's
will go
wrap
eat.
it up. And
you should have something to eat, too.
it's our lunchtime, so thanks for joining us.
See you next week.
Right here on Double Talk.